everyone. Welcome to Northwest Nightcap. Can you tell we haven't done this for a minute? Okay, I'm just gonna do it right. We're just gonna play the intro real fast.
All right, all right.
You're tuned in to the one and only show, bringing you entertainment stories shaken, stirred, with a little sass and a twist of lime. It's Northwest Nightcap with K-Cee Deeva, y'all. Don't miss it.
Okay, now it feels official. Welcome to another edition of Northwest Nightcap. Hey all, I'm K-Cee Deeva. If you're just joining us for the first time, if you're coming back and wondering where the heck we've been, life. Life gets busy, right? We got so much going on. Traveling. It's been summertime. And it's good to be back though. It's good to see my peeps and their lovely faces here. And thank you for joining us once again as we get together and talk about all the crazy antics going on in Hollywood. Hollyweird as it's often commonly called. Lots of stories today, lots to discuss. So before we do, we're going to do the intros of all my guests here. Of course, ladies first. To you, let's see, your left. It'll be your left. Lower left, it'll be Princess Robin and all her royalty. How are you today?
Fabulous, and blessed.
Princess Robin is not only one of my peeps on this particular show, but she's been on Dish with Diva. We've had some real good conversations there. We're gonna have lots more coming up in the new year, so stay tuned for that. Kind of revamping the show a little bit, so more to come on that. But Princess, who is our resident relationship expert, I have not asked her yet, but she will be a part of that.
I got you.
She also hosts a Traveler's Guide to Venus and Mars, which you can listen to on all the platforms that you can listen to podcasts on. And I've been on some, Anthony's been on some, K-Cee's been on some. So check those out. Look those up and check those out. And to her right, her right, lower right, right below me, her hubby, and my bro, Mr. Kurt K-Cee Clayton. Welcome, bro. Good to see you.
What's
up? He got the kisses.
I'm going to say that one for later.
Oh, K-Cee is the esteemed music director for the legendary group Confunction.
Hey.
And music producer and always busy. It's hard to catch up with, bro. Hardest working man in the biz, I say. That I know anyway. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Anthony Adams. Anthony, how you doing today, my BFF?
Hey, BFF, I'm good. A little tired, but I'm good. Living that soccer dad life.
Oh yeah. Well, you getting old. You just turned 37.
Hey,
ancient.
That's so cute. You're 37.
Thank you.
It was not
37.
I've got stocks older than you.
Yeah, it's cute. Yeah, it's cute and everything. But I tell you what's not cute. When I get up in the morning, all of a sudden I'm getting ready to start my day. I start walking to the kitchen, bones just start popping out of nowhere and everything. Jeez.
Oh, come on, just a baby. A baby.
I'm already getting AARP mail.
That's funny. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't know what that's like because turning 25. I got a few years before I get that kind of.
Exactly. Anyway, enjoy it.
Did you just die, babe?
Wait, bro. What's up, bro? You gonna have my back?
I got your back.
All right, let's jump into some of these stories, y'all, because it's just.
You got to spill over.
Oh man, we now we have not talked about this dude in a long time. So but today we gotta talk about it because as if we're not surprised, Mr. Kanye West, Ye or Ye, whatever he calls himself, up to it again. And I wonder, is this a PR stunt? Did he get caught up in the moment? What was he thinking? So this is the headline, according to Yahoo News, which actually cracked me up out of all the headlines for this story. Furious Italians ban Kanye West and wife Bianca Censori for life after, well, ban them for life after couple commit lewd act on a boat in Ventus. And in quotes, it says, he is no longer welcome. So if you haven't heard about this story, I guess they had a low key private ceremony. This is back in January. They haven't obtained a marriage license yet, which is a little weird, but they did a commitment ceremony. And they were on, those gondola boats, where the guys doing the rowing thing, and it's all romantic and cute and sweet. And usually there's a lot of them, right? There's a lot of them going through the. And so pictures surfaced of Kanye West. We'll say exposing his rear. And first you look at the picture and it's like, he needs to wear a belt. Like pants are slipping, he's sitting, and you can, see cracks and whatnot. And then someone got a different angle of his wife in a very, let's say, compromising position. Yeah. So apparently Italians were not happy with it. And furious, as the headline says, and has banned him for life. So my question to you all is, is this just typical Kanye antics? Did he get caught up in the moment, in the romance of being in Italy with his Kim Kardashian lookalike wife? The KK clone, I say. She doesn't look that happy in the picture. She doesn't look happy in any picture. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Every picture I've seen of her with, she has never been smiling. So it just makes you kind of wonder. I'm gonna start with you, Princess. First thoughts on this.
First of all, I agree. She does look kind of deer in the headlights on all the pictures. But I could just see them just feeling like they can do whatever they want. You know what I mean? Or it's exciting. Some people get off on that. No pun intended.
People watching or whatever.
Yeah, the whole exhibitionist thing.
Yeah.
And, oh, how hot is this? And
So Anthony, he's so funny.
I don't know. But whatever is going through his mind, we never know.
That's the thing. Again, it's just like, is this one of his wild, I need attention because I haven't had any music out lately, blah, blah, blah. Anthony, what do you think?
Well, I think when I first heard this story, I thought about the one thing my grandma used to say to me: "Your butt gonna get you in trouble." Yeah. And hey, listen, some people, like Princess said, they like to let they wild side fly and everything, but there's a time and a place for that. And especially it's like in public when I'm sure there's kids around. Yeah, no,
that's my thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
there are families that, everybody goes to Italy, right? So
yeah,
it's
also,
not like they were in a private, like maybe going through a private, little situation or river, whatever, and there's nobody around. They got caught up. I could maybe buy that, but come on now.
Well, not only that, they're lucky they didn't get arrested for it. That they weren't brought up on charges.
Well, that's the other thing. I thought that was kind of interesting, actually. Like,
yeah. Well, probably because technically they can't prove that they were doing something lewd, but we all know what they were doing.
So. The guy driving the boat, I'm sure knew.
He's like,
he's got this awkward look, like, what the heck is going on? Bro, what are your thoughts on this? Typical Kanye or attention seeking?
I've got to totally flip it, because first and foremost, the whole gondolin thing is supposed to be all romantic. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure a lot of people have made out and done a lot of stuff on there. They just got married, right? And they were celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was only because it was them, you know what I'm saying, that it became a newsworthy situation. I'm pretty sure a whole lot of people that made out because that's the whole premise of being on it. It's supposed to be romantic, going down. And I'm pretty sure there's a whole lot of people that made out and done a whole lot of stuff, on those
I don't
runways.
know, bro. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe made out like kissy face,
no,
but they, I
no,
mean,
well, I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have probably done the same thing. It's just the fact that it's them and he is who he is and
who is.
popularity. And because here's the thing, everybody's got a camera phone nowadays.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people that did stuff on there, but because they are not famous,
nobody cares.
Nobody cares. So
I think you have a point there, hubby.
Because one of the premises of getting on that whole situation is because it's romantic.
Right.
And most people, and I mean, not to say that everybody just goes to the extreme that they went to, but I'm pretty sure some people have done that. That they're not famous enough to be, exposed.
Could you imagine like having to be the driver of one of those boats? Like that just would be just awkward as hell.
I'm pretty sure they see it all the time.
They probably see they'd be. You're right. That's a good point.
Trust me, I'm pretty sure they see people on there drunk. They see people get sick. It's like that's just the gig. It is, but it's a daily thing for them.
I'm waiting for the interview. Somebody at some point is going to interview. Watch.
Well, because it just made. First of all, he's going to always be in the news no matter what he does.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, that was one thing I think they had said a few weeks ago. Someone says that Kanye is probably the most controversial and most viewed artist, without even having a record out, more than Jay-Z or anyone else. Jay-Z, but Kanye, although he doesn't have it out, but he is in social media all the time.
Yeah.
Which keeps him relevant.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion.
I will add on to that. Usually there's a part where you go under like the tunnel, and the history has always been when you go into the tunnel, you're supposed to kiss for as long as you're underneath there, and then you come out. And
how you know that, Anthony? You been
Flavor of Love. There was an episode of Flavor of Love where they went to Italy and
they've been on there doing some stuff on there, like bro said on the gondola.
Well, Kurt Clayton, when we go to Venice, I'm definitely kissing you on the gondola.
Oh, definitely let you kiss me too.
But don't let me see no pictures of surfacing of y'all.
We'll have a blanket.
I might go like this. I might even go like this. But we will probably keep our clothes on until we get back to the hotel.
But we'll have a blanket.
You have a blanket, anything can happen under a blanket. I'm just saying. At the very least, Kanye, like, for the dignity of your wife, like, have a blanket. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. But you know what? Yeah. So, guess you never know what you see when you go to Italy. All right, let's move on. I'm bored with him already. So Love and Hip Hop. Now, when Love and Hip Hop first came out, I admit I was addicted. I was watching I think I saw the Atlanta one. There's been so many of them, kind of like the Housewives. There's 1,000 Housewives. And then I got tired of this. It's the same old premise. People fighting, people, being weird and, just ratchet and throwing drinks and all this kind of stuff. But this I actually saw this before I saw the story, and I was scrolling through and I was like, Love and Hip Hop Miami is still on. So I sat there and it was towards the end. I'm watching it and I see Erica Mena, who has been on like pretty much all the Love and Hip Hops. And Spice, who is I want to say Jamaican artist. I think Jamaican artist. Get into this heated debate. Now when you're arguing, people are going to say things, people go below the belt, whatever. So apparently Erica has been estranged from her older son. She now has a couple other children by Safari, who also is I guess he's an artist of such, and been on all the Love and Hip Hops and what have you. They just recently got divorced, very nasty divorce. And she's clearly still hurting from this. I mean, I've seen clips and news stories and such. Oh, that's my script. That's why I should say something. And clips and such. In this particular scene, though, she's going back and forth with Spice. They're arguing. Spice says, "Well, that's why your son doesn't love you." And you literally see Erica like her blackout, and she just starts yelling a bunch of, nonsense at Spice. In the midst of that, she calls her a monkey. So the next day, all the headlines were like, and social media, shame on Erica. She's showing she's a racist. You don't use the term monkey when you're, talking to a black person, so on, so forth. Now, Erica is Afro-Latina, and, her children by Safari, are half black as well. So, I saw this, and having seen it and seen so many videos, so many views, she actually got fired because of the comments. And like when anyone gets fired or canceled, first thing I wonder is, okay, did the network do that because they really thought what she did was wrong? Because there's the back and forth online where some people are saying, okay, fair is fair. She said something about her kid. She crossed the line. You don't go saying something about somebody's kid. She called her a monkey. That doesn't mean that she used it in a racist term, whatever. Of course, a lot of people were like, that's BS. It was totally racist. She could have said anything else, but she chose that for a specific reason. I personally don't think she should have been fired. I feel like it was a heated argument. They both went below the belt and move on. But she lost her job because of it. So just curious of your thoughts. I'll start with you, bro. What do you think? Should she have been fired?
No, and I think this is the dumbest situation in the world. Simply because, first of all, the network, like anything else, they have all the footage and they can edit and they can bleep out whatever they want to when they want
Very
to.
true.
Now, they have no problem letting all of them. Now, monkey is an animal, right? But so they call each other female dogs all the time, don't they?
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So that's on the network for doing it what they want to do when they want to do it.
Yeah.
At the same time, they could have bleeped it out. They could have blurred out her face or her mouth to where you couldn't see what she was saying if they wanted to. Right? Meanwhile, if you're going to fire them for that, then guess what? You should fire everybody on there for throwing drinks, tossing tables,
exactly.
all this other,
yes,
and having assault charges put on each every episode. So once again, this has got to be the dumbest situation, and for them, all it does is help. It helps their ratings. Because at the end of the day, that's what Mona Scott. Her whole thing is about controversy and putting people in awkward situations that they don't want to be in. And I guarantee you, she told the other young lady, mention, her son and all this kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, if you're going to fire her, fire the other young lady. Because certain things, here's the thing. When you're talking about quote unquote fights, and all the kind, certain things are supposed to be off limits in general. Children are the first thing that's supposed to be off limits.
Absolutely.
So now if you're going to mention, especially knowing that she's just, and everybody's knowing she's just coming off of a very, very volatile divorce, custody and all these type of situations involved, and it was very ugly. And on top of that, you chose to bring my child into the midst of this. Now, at that point, all bets are off with anybody. So, and when you're angry, you're not going to curtail what you say when you're caught up in the heat of the moment.
Exactly.
It don't stop them from calling each other B's and
exactly
W's and H's and tossing tables and throwing drinks and shoes and pulling hair and pulling wigs out and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, yes, bro. You hit it on the head, and so what ticked me off is they put out the statement, and it says the Love and Hip Hop franchise has never shied away from hard conversations in our community. Working hand in hand with our partners, and viewers, with our partners, viewers will see the impact of Erica Mena's remarks play out in the final 3 episodes of the season. So trying to get the viewers, right? Get us to tune in. Effective immediately, she will not appear in the next season of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. So that just ticked me off, right? Because
No,
I'm like,
she'll be on Love and Hip Hop New York.
right. She's gonna resurface. We've seen this happen, but it also makes me upset, as someone who for the day job, works in, I do webinars about mental health, and Erica clearly is spiraling, right? Like you said, that divorce is nasty, and I've seen so many stories come across my feed. Safari is now dating some other girl that used to be a friend or so. I mean, it just, and so I just think it was really unfair to her. I just think it's really unfair to her to single her out like that. Like you said, then they both should have been gone, because I always felt like children are off limits. You do not talk about people's kids. You don't use that as a weapon. Princess, what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, so I have so many thoughts. I'm gonna try to keep it as concise.
Share them, Princess. Share them all.
So this is what's wrong with reality TV. That first of all, that it is kind of like commonplace that people call people female dogs.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know when that became an okay word, but it is an okay word in hip hop, which is sad, just like the N word with the A, right? So that is the first problem with where I think our culture has gone today, right? That being said, reality TV is about the scandals and the heat, right? And I think the difference between hitting below the belt, saying something that will aggravate someone, and then using what we know, let's be real, that is a racial slur. That word is a racial slur. We don't, in fact, think about it. What lengths do we go to not say monkey when we're talking about Black people? You know what you're doing when you say monkey, right? And then we are in a climate right now where, and I'm sorry, I got to call you out, babe. If you're going to get so-and-so for saying a racial slur, then you got to get this one for saying a racial slur. Race is one of those things that's a line we do not cross. That's just a line that doesn't get crossed. People get fired all the time. Somebody shows up and says the N-word. Somebody shows up and says, in blackface or something like that. Race is the hot button, and that is the taboo. Yes, it is ugly and nasty to talk about somebody's kids, but when you go across a race line, that's something that we hold people accountable for. Now, I'm sure she's going through a lot, but and I'm calling you out, babe, because it's always, if you're gonna do this to so-and-so, then you got to do this to so-and-so. And we do not let racial slurs go without extreme consequence. It's unfortunate but the drama is what makes the TV show. And yes, they could have bleeped it out, but the point of the matter is, whether they bleeped it out or not, it happened.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of people get fired for things that we never see on camera, but they happen.
I just think their statement was dumb and hypocritical, because they keep talking about, our culture. If you were that concerned about the culture, then you would put on more positive.
Thank you.
I agree with you. But it is, you know,
the whole series is about showing our people in a negative tone.
right.
So
That's our most reality TV shows right now.
The culture of our people, when you don't give a damn about the culture of our people because you're the main ones that's perpetuating this negative stereotype about our people.
And making a fat check off it.
I mean, I totally get the racial situation was totally out of line. I get that. But this whole series of Love and Hip Hop has always been pushing the envelope about what our people don't need to be seeing. You know,
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm strictly talking about, is that move the wrong move for saying a racial slur? I'm saying, duh. When do people not get called to the carpet for saying a racial slur it's a, you know, consistent, you know, it's about being consistent and accountable and fair, you know. It's
I totally agree about that. All I'm saying is it's racial slurs and attacking one's children. All of it is out of bounds to me.
Yeah.
And especially when you're knowing someone's mental state and you choose to use that to your advantage.
Yeah, I think that's what really bothers me. Like I said, it's no secret that the divorce has been nasty. You know, Safari has said things, and you know, Erica said things, and then you got the kids involved. That you know, who I feel for more than either one of them even is the children. Anthony, why don't you go ahead and chime in here? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, like many of you, I'm still surprised that show is still even on. But
yeah, just can't believe it's still on.
And the audacity that's called Love and Hip Hop when nobody on there is really in the hip hop business anymore. It's one of those things where, I mean, here's the thing that we are all missing. It's the fact, the reason why VH1 fired her is because of the pushback on social media from, you know, the community and everything. 100%. The thing about it is everybody is acting like, mind you, everybody just saw this episode. VH1 been sitting on this episode for months. They filmed this stuff.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah.
So they knew that she said this. They knew this argument was going to happen, but of course, you know, they didn't do anything because, hey, that's the bread and butter of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Black women showing out in public and everything, giving us a bad rep. That's the reason why I don't watch the show anymore.
Yeah.
And again, now with that press release you just read, now that goes to tell you how much reality TV is really reality TV, because I guarantee you the last couple episodes were completely different than what's going to air addressing this episode. It's like, oh, well, we have to hop on this now because it's the biggest. So let's get everybody in and we're going to film this segment and everything. So it's all staged. It's staged. It's with a reality element to it. But again, it's like VH1 knew what they were sitting on from the beginning. Anytime you watch a reality show, you got to keep that in mind. These shows are filmed at least 3 to 8 months in advance. So yeah, the thing is, as a public, we just now saw it. So we're just now playing catch up to it.
And we only saw it because they chose to not take that edit out.
Exactly.
Right.
Again, goes back to VH1 knew what they were sitting on.
They edited how they want to. We would never know about it had they totally edited that whole situation out.
Yeah, and they could have, like you said earlier, bro, they could have, they bleep out when they use the F-bombs and the, you know what I'm saying? They could have easily bleeped it out. They chose not to.
And even then, they could have let, it's all about editing. They could have let Homegirl say what she said, and then they could have edited up until they see them dragging each other out. You know, okay, and let people wonder, yeah, it got to the point where security had to come in and edit, but they edit because, trust me, that's hours and hours and hours of footage that they choose to say, let's keep this in, let's keep this out. This is gonna be good.
Oh yeah.
And once again, to me, I just go back to quit trying to say, well, you know, our culture is this.
Our community.
Damn about our culture when you're the person that, you know, other cultures are looking at these shows to get their take of what our culture is about.
Yeah, I want to circle back to what Princess said, because I think it was a valid point when you talk about the racial piece of it. Because I saw online where there were arguments going back and forth on some of the feeds where some people were like, "Oh, she's in the heat of the moment," and you say what you don't mean and you say anything, and then there were folks that were like, BS. She knew exactly what she was saying. She said that, so how can you say that it wasn't intentional? And it was just really interesting to see the back and forth. So go ahead.
No,
Oh,
I agree. They both knew exactly what they were saying, because when you're in the either, first of all, here's the thing: when anybody's arguing, everybody's trying to one up the other person.
right. That's
So
normal.
everybody's
Yeah.
so you can't say, well, I'm gonna play dirty, but you got to still play fair. That's not how arguments go.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, everybody tries to hit below the belt, and everybody tries to one up each other so they can get the last word in. Unfortunately, was Erica Mendez I totally agree with everybody. She was totally wrong for saying what she said. That should have never came out of her mouth. There should have never been a situation, period. But when you are triggered, and whatever triggers you, you don't know how you're going to react. If someone decides to choke your kids, and all of a sudden and they say, well, you shouldn't have pushed them out of the way. You should have just asked them nicely to move, to take their hands off your child. You don't know how you're going to react. Everybody's going to have an opinion about how you should conduct yourself in the midst of certain situations. You don't know, because you're caught up in that moment. I'm not saying that, I'm not condoning what she said. I'm not saying that at all. I totally agree with what Robin is saying. She should not have said that, but at the same time, there's a lot of stuff that everyone says, especially on these shows, that we don't know what was actually said and how it was said.
All I'm saying is, if somebody did something to my child, I might want to kill them. But you know what? If I do, I'm going to jail. That's just the thing. There's consequences for actions.
Yeah.
And in this case, in this climate, you cannot let that, that slide. In fact, I am of the mindset that that's how we got to this place in time where it's okay to, people believe the N-word is okay. Because somehow it didn't get checked. It didn't get checked. And now it's got different rules for different people, but where it originated, where it originated. Yeah. And it's not cool for any of us.
Did you guys see?
There's been so much behind the scenes footage on all these shows where you have seen them jump across tables, rip each other's clothes off.
Right. And somehow
all kinds of stuff.
That's okay.
But anything on a regular situation, there will be assault charges brought up on somebody.
And there are sometimes I've seen, I don't know about that show. I've never watched Love and Hip Hop. Sorry. I don't know any of these characters. So I'm not speaking from a sympathetic viewpoint or anything. I don't know any of them. But I have watched most of I have seen most of the Housewives shows. And I can tell you, there have been charges. There have been, I've seen people get arrested on camera. I've seen all of these things happen. There are consequences to people's actions. And the way you get your ratings is you put together the most juicy scene you can. But again, and me, I'm consistent with what I say. Consequences, actions have consequences.
No,
and you may have,
I agree.
You may have been justified. You were defending your child.
I'm totally agree with everything you're saying. All I'm saying is, when you see every episode somebody getting their wig snatched off.
Yeah.
And I'm saying somebody's got a black eye. Somebody's had a drink thrown on them. You seeing somebody's shoes come off. You seeing their panties. because they dressed and rode. You seen a whole lot. Let's just keep it real. You're seeing a whole lot of things that first and foremost does not exemplify how the 99.9% of us act in our culture.
100.
So my thing is, Mona Scott is a hypocrite when she started trying to like, well, our culture don't do this now. It's a lot of stuff our culture, but you don't promote the positivity of our culture.
Right.
You only promote the negative to
the messiness
to line your pockets.
Yep. That's it. And you know, part of me wonders too if, because like you know, we, like you said, bro, the editing, the producers go through hours of footage, they edit it down to a 1 hour show. Well, less than that because you got commercials. And my thing is, did they want to get rid of Erica? You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, they could have bleeped it. This wouldn't have even been a thing. You know, we might have seen like her mouth it and not, wait, what did she say? You know, but
we didn't even have to know that whole episode even.
Right. They could have cut that part out. Exactly. So that makes me think, like, were they ready to like give her walking papers? And this was a great way to do it because they knew that people were going to, you know, have a field day with this.
Anthony said it best. They've been sitting on this footage for at least 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Figuring out how they're going to use it, and even they could have been in the contract negotiations or whatever during that time. Okay, so now what we're gonna, because trust me, I guarantee you, there's a whole lot of stuff that they probably have in the can that's, I'm not saying that's worse, but just as equally bad that they're holding on to, you know, because that's why certain people that have been on those shows in the past chose not to get back on those shows.
Yeah.
Because there were times, and I remember when Jim Jones and his wife was on Love and Hip Hop, and they chose to get off because
I forgot about them. Yeah,
because at one point his wife, I forgot her name. I can't remember her name right now.
Chrissy.
Yeah, because Chrissy said, "Okay, listen, we told y'all when we, you know, for us to get back on this show, this is what we agreed upon doing. Y'all were not supposed to do this. Y'all were not supposed to put this person in, you know, and me in a situation together. And we signed off on that. You all agreed to that. And then after that, after we didn't sign off on this, you all purposely tried to set me up. So she immediately called Jim and said, Jim, they went, and he's like, I'm on my way. Because once again, they don't, because when it comes to contracts, you know, Mona Scott will do what she wants to do when she wants to do it. And they didn't play that game, you know, and they called him out, you know, and the other producer had to come in and said, and Chris was like, we told y'all we weren't going to do this. Did we not say that? And, you know, and did we not have this conversation? Did we not all have this meeting? Like, you're absolutely right. So like, so now you all purposely knew that I was going to be here, and y'all purposely invited her, knowing that was going to cause a situation.
Wasn't it like the mom or something? I think. Remember, she didn't get along with the mom
it was someone that was affiliated with Jim.
Oh, okay.
Yandy.
Who?
Yandy.
It was Yandy.
Yandy. I forgot about Yandy. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and
okay.
Like, and you all knew.
That's right.
You all informed her that I was going to be there, but you all didn't inform me that she was going to be here.
That's right. Yeah, I remember seeing this shady. This shady.
Yeah.
I like you said, bro. I think we all agree the whole franchise is just. I still cannot believe it's still, like I said. I literally just I was like, this is still on. Like I just figured it was one of those things that would fizzle. People get tired of seeing the same, nonsense and drink throwing and what have you. So
you got to understand who's the parent company. The parent company, which is Viacom.
Yeah.
Which is not, which is not us.
Nope.
And at any given time, and for them, their situation at any given time, if they can view us in any kind of negative light, they will. What makes it worse is that they use our own people to perpetuate that.
Right. That are the producers.
One last thing.
Go ahead, Princess.
One last thing. If you didn't see it on Love and Hip Hop, just go to social media. I mean, everybody loves a good fight. How many times have you watched people pull out their phones and then post, this is going down here? I mean, it is so sad that that's what sells, but as long as we're watching it, that's what's going to go. That's what will continue to go viral. I mean, that's what seems to get people's interest. So yeah, they're making money off of it, but whether they were or not, on any given day on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, whatever, you go see people scrapping and pulling off hair
and people standing there instead of helping, standing there whipping out the phones
and start filming.
Because we've had
look at that, she got her butt.
Well, that's because we've had 10 plus years of watching it on national TV and basically desensitizing us to say, oh, it's okay to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
100.
Yep. All right. All good points. Yeah, wow. That's it's gonna be interesting though, because we've seen these situations too in these reality TV shows. People get fired, people leave, and then they resurface somewhere, right? So that's not the last we're gonna see of Erica. She's one of the popular ones in that franchise. Huh?
She'll mess around and have her own show.
Yeah, exactly. What'd you say?
I said Zeus Network. That's where all the trashy reality.
Oh my God! How did that? Don't give me. Yeah.
They all go. Jocelyn.
Yeah, Zeus, Jocelyn. I mean, yeah. All right. I want to talk about this. We're getting close to time, and I'm really curious. And Anthony, you and I talked about it earlier. We're both curious to get Bro's take on this in particular. Yes. For the first time ever, there's an AI generated song that mimics Drake and The Weeknd that has been submitted for Grammy consideration. Anthony, you want to talk a little bit more in detail on that, and then we'll get opinions.
So earlier this year, AI music just started popping up all over YouTube. You had AI Tupac songs and Biggie songs, and the most popular one out of all of them was this AI generated song of Drake featuring an AI generated version of The Weeknd. And the song was popular. I mean, it got to a point to where I think at one point a radio station played it because they thought it was a new Drake record, and they thought it was AI generated. The Weeknd and Drake have both commented on it, and Drake has even said it's scary that this is what's happening now. The song ended up getting so many streams on SoundCloud and social and YouTube and stuff, because there's YouTube Music, that the people at the Grammys said, well, the song is technically made by a human. It wasn't like a computer. It made this song on its own. Essentially what it is it's a person singing into a microphone. They're using a voice changer to sound like Drake, to sound like The Weeknd. And when you hear the song, it sounds legitimate. The only thing that's off is The Weeknd's pitch is slightly off, so you can tell it's an impersonator. But the Drake part, it sounds just like him. So this is is it getting to a point where technology is getting out of control? And the fact this is being nominated for a Grammy, Bro, you sit on the Grammy chapter. What was your take when you first heard this? And did you hear the song yourself?
I've heard the song, but first of all, stop and think. First of all, being considered for a Grammy doesn't mean you make it to the final ballot. So everybody submits songs to be considered, right? You can submit a song right now to be considered. It would not make it to. First of all, it would not make it past the first round for a lot of different reasons. Number one, it's not the original people that they're claiming that it is. So Drake and Weeknd saying this is not us. So that's already a situation where you have copyright infringement in situations like that, because now you have somebody that's basically claiming that they're Drake and they're not Drake.
Well, hold on a second. They put AI in front of their names, like AI Drake, AI Weeknd.
But still, you're still using Drake's likeness. You see what I'm saying? You're using Drake's likeness and Weeknd's likeness to sell something that they did not approve. All right, that's just like years ago when samples first, came in, and there was several songs that had to be taken off of Grammy consideration because they did not list all the writers of the original work, right?
Oh wow.
So now to go one step further, another thing that happens with the Grammys, even when it comes to Grammy performances and all that kind of stuff, everything has to be authentic. Meaning, hey, somebody's got to get up here, and if we consider this for a Grammy nomination and makes it the final, then guess what? Someone's got to be able to perform this song live, right? Now, who's going to? Because now you can't get Drake to do it because Drake didn't write it. On top of that, you can't use Drake's name and his like, and on top of that, not pay Drake or The Weeknd, right? This is how Michael Bolton and a lot of people got in trouble because they claimed they had never heard, the Isley Brothers song, that they had never heard Rock of the Bay or whatever, and so it's a situation where it's a great headline and it's great for to get people in Grammy mindset, to promote, but it's never gonna, but with the Grammy committees, it's never gonna get past a certain situation because what it also does, it opens up Pandora's box for a lot of people to start saying, well, you know what, for me to get out here, I can't make it as myself, but let me see if I can use this modern technology to make a song that sounds like Michael Jackson and claim it's an AI Michael Jackson.
That actually happened.
Here's my thing. Yeah. They took back the Grammys from one of my favorite groups back in the 90s, which was Milli Vanilli.
Yeah.
I don't care who was singing. I liked them and I liked the song.
Yeah.
They took the Grammys back from them for lip syncing. I feel like this is along those lines. I mean, because they're falsifying.
It's
you know what I'm saying?
It's past that line.
Yeah, I think this is even worse.
AI generated, and you don't know what's real, what's and even with although everybody now lip syncs, live,
right?
Beyonce lip syncing during her show, that's it's a common thing now. Just like sampling is a common thing now. But
pause, bro. I'm gonna need you to pause. Rewind. Beyonce, what in the concert you talking about?
Yeah,
she lip syncs.
She lip syncs some of. She had. First of all, you're not going to do that much energy dancing and be on pitch, for 2 hours.
For that price, I need to see you singing every damn word.
I mean, she's singing, but she's singing, but a lot of her, vocals.
Yeah. She's not singing all that. Yeah, no, I got it. But
because there's no way in the world any artist is going to do that many shows at that energy level.
Michael,
I'm just saying. But if you
Michael
notice,
Jackson did.
But if you notice, Michael would be in one place for 3 or 4 days.
That's true. That's true.
You know what I'm saying? He's not going from city to city to city to city to city. Right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. And he had an oxygen tank backstage, but
he had oxygen tank backstage and things like that. And that's what. But Beyonce is doing one night in Amsterdam, next night she's in Zurich, next night she's here.
Yeah, she's all over the place.
But that's because a lot of it is sequenced and programmed, and there's certain times. I mean, it's just like what she can always do. She can always give a cue and say, "Okay, I'm gonna sing this one live." But if I'm a little tired tonight, I can give the cue and I can, and they'll have, the sequence version of a vocal line. She'll still be, singing along with it, but she can kind of pace herself and sing another song in the show.
I gotcha.
But back to the whole AI situation, it opens up Pandora's box because it's gonna go into the whole copyright infringement and that situation where nobody wants to get into that whole situation, going back to the whole Marvin Gaye and and T.I. and in that situation. So it's a good story, but just saying it's up for Grammy consideration mean that they submitted it in the first ballot.
Okay.
But there's at least 3,
layers they got to get through.
Of ballots that it has to go through.
Princess, what are your thoughts on this whole AI thing and Because the thing about AI, I find it quite scary personally. I mean, not just from the music standpoint, but I've seen news stories where they're like using it to, they say like if you get spam, call a number you don't know, don't say hello, don't say, certain things because they're using it and calling people's parents and saying, I need money or I need help, I'm in trouble, send $10,000 and they've got your voice, so I'm all about future technology and it's ever changing moving forward. But Princess, what are your thoughts on it?
The deep fake is a scary thing, man. Did you happen to see the show Black Mirror? Hubby knows I was.
Oh, did I? No, that was a different Mirror show. No, I saw like previews for it, but I don't know what it's about.
Black Mirror, up until the very last episode, which was corny. It was all about really the how technology and it's really not that different than where we are right now, and so you kind of see how technology is kind of like becoming its own thing. Like the humans are the ones who are like, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm,
and it I mean, I think this is that advancement is a good thing, but it's we're definitely going into dangerous territory where people are being harmed. So this is I think not good. This is a not good thing that someone even did that. Like
right.
AI dream. People totally violated. Damn, like anything else, I'd be like, oh my God, that's not me. That's not me. That's why I was thinking of this Black Mirror episode. This is one of those things. And it's like, hey, how are you doing that?
Yeah.
How are you doing that? And it's like the AI.
Yeah.
I'm not liking it. Anthony, you gonna say something?
Well, no, I was going to say, if you remember back in 2010, after Michael Jackson passed away, they put out that first posthumous album. We come to find out 3 of the 10 songs were actually not Michael. They were somebody else that sounded like him. And actually what happened is customers sued Sony because they're like, wait a minute, this is you duped me. So now when you go and you find that album on streaming services, it went from 10 songs to 7 songs.
Oh, they took them off. And I remember hearing that too. And I knew though, I consider myself the ultimate Michael Jackson fan. I was like, I was listening, I was jamming, and then and I forget the name of the song. The first one came on, and I was like, okay, I was digging it, and I was like, hold on. I was in the car, and I remember this. I rewound it. I was like, something's off with this song, and I listened again, and I was like, is that Michael? Like I was serious. I was like, huh. Okay, maybe he changed it up, whatever. And then it started to come out. Like people were like, yeah, and I think one of his nephews or something, didn't he say something on Twitter or whatever?
Yeah.
Like that's not my uncle and blah, blah, blah. It was the whole thing.
Did. Yeah. All of them did actually. Yeah. And
yeah.
And actually, it was funny too, because Teddy Riley, who worked on that album, recently came out and did an interview with Vlad TV where he said, had I known that those songs were fake, I would have never worked on them.
How did he not know it wasn't Michael? He worked directly with Michael on 2 albums.
Yeah. So
how did he get duped?
Well, no, because sometimes what happens is, although you work on the album, you turn in certain like if I'm working on the music part of it, right? Now, at that point, I'm turning it because Sony is the company.
Yeah.
So basically, everything goes through channels, right? So. Like I might be working on the music part. So I submit X amount of tracks for Michael's project to Sony, and then Sony is supposed to send them over to Michael.
Okay.
Now, Sony because Sony owns the tracks. Sony decides, okay, yeah, we're gonna send. Oh, Michael's no longer here, but we got these songs. So now they just gonna take one of their other artists that is signed to them or whatever, and they're gonna say, well, we're not gonna let this money go. We got these songs. So we gonna, and that's big corporations.
Okay.
Because they have the stuff. So after it leaves Teddy's hands, you know, he doesn't know what's going on. He's assuming that it went to Michael, right? Because
So
a
he
lot of
created
times,
the music and then sends it over
yeah,
for the. Oh,
trust me,
okay, I got you. I follow. Okay.
there are a lot of records that I have played on and I've worked on
Mm.
that none of us was ever in the same room.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it goes back to, and let's go now here's the other bad part of the AI / musical situation, and let's go back to the previous segment that we was talking about.
Mm.
Now, what if all of a sudden someone takes the AI and they use it in a bad way, and they use it in a racial way, right? And all of a sudden now Drake says something, or Weeknd says something, or Beyonce says something, or one of the favorite artists says that you believe said something that was offensive, but it was AI. Well, once
Right.
it's out there, once again, everybody reads the headlines. Nobody ever reads the retractions. All
Right.
you're gonna know is Beyonce said, monkey, 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 right? So once again, that's why everyone's got to quickly put a cap on this and put this Pandora back in the box
Yeah. Before it
before
gets out
it
of
ends
control.
up get out of control, and everybody is not going to do things for the betterment of the universe.
Right.
You have a lot of vicious people out here that all of a sudden they'll put it out there, and once again, especially when it comes to our culture, you don't know who's behind it, but they'll put it out there, making it look as if we said this and we meant this.
Yeah.
They can have an AI, out there of Dr. King saying, "I ain't say none of this. Damn a dream." And people say, "Well, Dr. King admitted it, right?"
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing about it. So.
And you're right. And you hit on something. People take it and run. They take the headline and run with it. I mean, even TV news. Like I don't even watch TV news anymore because, many, many, many years ago when I was a journalist, there was a certain code of ethics. The journalists back then that I worked with, we did the research before we put something out there. I get you have a sound bite and you have like a minute and a half to do your story, whatever, but there's still a certain amount of research that you did and fact checking and before you put something out there. Now I just feel like you get this sound bite. You get the sound bite, you get the headline, and then you're kind of left to whatever you see on social media, to make up the rest of your mind kind of thing. So I just think that, like Princess mentioned a little bit earlier, the world we're in now, it has changed so much and not necessarily in a positive way. I'm interested to see where this IA thing goes. I'm hoping that it just, quells down and maybe something better, some better type of technology will surface, but this ain't it.
They're going to promote it just like they, like a few years ago. The closest thing to AI a few years ago was Daft Punk.
Yep.
Right.
They were original though.
Yeah, but and to this day you still don't know who Daft Punk is.
Right.
They had helmets on or
the helmet, yeah.
But this situation, they're going to try to use it to a certain degree to promote, but you're going to have true musicians, and that's why they have those marches on Washington and in Congress and all that kind of stuff. You can have true musicians and artists, push back and say no. Now this
and
is going
so,
to
bro, is this one of those things where, like, could Drake and The Weeknd, could they sue this person? Like, say that, let's just say the Grammy board decides to go ahead and nominate whoever's behind this. Could they sue for using their likeness?
Yeah, they would have a right to sue everybody simply because the Grammy board has a code of ethics that they're supposed to go by before they because one thing that even when you get to the final ballots, one thing that everyone in that room has to say, because everyone has a secret vote and things like that. And one thing that the one thing they always put in everyone's back of everybody's mind is would you feel proud when you hear "and the Grammy goes to"? Right? Now, here's the situation. Once again, you're using Drake's likeness and his image and his name. It doesn't matter that you put AI in front of it. If the song was that big a hit, just put AI. Don't use Drake's name. Right? Now, if the song's gonna be a hit, let it be a hit on its own. But you're using my name and my likeness to help sell your product, and at the same time, you benefit from it, and I don't. That's illegal. So yeah, and if the Grammy allows that to get to that level, then Drake and The Weeknd and their people will have the right to sue everyone that's involved, simply because you all helped promote this situation that you knew was not me or my or my likeness, and you still purposely used it to benefit, to get ratings for your show.
Right.
So at that point, they can sue everyone affiliated with the Grammys. They can sue, everyone that's affiliated with that record. They can sue the company that put the record out, and ask for damages on top of any monetary sales that song has gained.
Okay. All right. Well, we're just about out of time. A little over time, but this is some good discussion. Bro, you're always so knowledgeable in that whole music biz. I feel like I know so much more after these shows when it comes to. I've even recited some stuff you talked about in the past with contracts. I'm talking with friends. I'm like, well,
yeah,
blah blah blah. So always a wealth of knowledge. Thank you to all my peeps for joining me today. Like I said, it's been a minute. Everyone's just so busy. But always good time, always fun to be with the fam and talk about all these shenanigans going on in Hollywood. So thank you to the beautiful Princess Robin. Again, be sure to catch her podcast, Traveler's Guide to Venus and Mars, on all major platforms. Bro, what do you got coming up? I know you've been busy, been doing shows and on the road, and
next week I will be with Confunction in Punta Cana. We're doing the festival with Keith Sweat and Music Soul Child and
a lot of people.
A lot of
people.
And then I leave there, and I leave Punta Cana, and I go directly to Indianapolis and do a show with Keith Washington and Karen White. And, and then I come home, and in a few weeks start working on a Christmas project with one of our favorite people, and Robin's big brother, Mr. Glenn Jones.
Very cool.
It's my dude.
Very cool. Right on.
And we got Memphis Music Hall of Fame coming up. So this year we're honoring good friends of mine, Carlos Brody, who produced a lot of stuff. He was part of the hit squad that produced a lot of stuff with Biggie, Lil' Kim. He also produced Reed's first big hit video. He's from Memphis. My good friend Kirk Whalum, he's being inducted to the Memphis Music Hall of Fame. Jimmy Jameson, who's a former lead singer of the group Survivor, he's being honored. So we're working on that as well. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all once again for joining us, and we'll be back. We'll be back next month. Trying to get everyone back in one place is always challenging, but we will make it happen. So until next time,
hit the theme song.
K-Cee Soul